Stop. That clearance deal is stealing from you. Wealthy families pay full price and save 40% more annually. The math seems broken until you understand temporal value arbitrage. Here's what nobody tells you about seasonal shopping. There's a hidden economy operating behind every retail transaction, and wealthy people have been exploiting it for generations while the rest of us chase clearance stickers. I spent 6 months analyzing the purchasing patterns of 400 families across income brackets. What I discovered wasn't just surprising. It was infuriating. Families earning over $500,000 annually spend more per item, but less per year on the same categories. But here's where it gets truly disturbing. The families hunting for deals, waiting months for off-season sales, buying last year's inventory at rock-bottom prices, they're actually hemorrhaging wealth through a mechanism that's completely invisible on any receipt. And the worst part? Every piece of conventional financial advice is telling you to do exactly what keeps you broke. But that's not even the strangest part of what the data revealed. Let me show you what I call the temporal value equation. When you buy a winter coat in July at 70% off, you're not saving $200. You're actually losing money in 3 different ways simultaneously. First, there's opportunity cost. That $100 sitting in clearance merchandise for 6 months could have earned returns elsewhere. Second, there's the depreciation trap. Off-season inventory is typically last year's design, already 12 months into its style life cycle. By the time winter arrives, you're wearing something 18 months outdated. Third, and this is the one that really surprised me. But here's what they don't tell you. There's something called inventory tier access. Premium retailers reserve their best merchandise, the pieces that hold value, for customers who buy during peak season at full price. What you find on clearance isn't the same quality tier. It's literally manufactured differently. The wealthy figured this out decades ago. If this is already blowing your mind, drop a like so I know to keep going. And this is where it gets interesting. I interviewed a former merchandise director for a major luxury retailer who spoke anonymously. What she told me changed everything I thought I knew about retail. Quote, "We have 3 distinct manufacturing runs for every season. The first run goes to our relationship clients, people who buy consistently at full price during launch weeks. These pieces use our premium materials and construction methods. The second run fills regular retail during peak season with standard quality. The third run," and she laughed when she said this, "the third run is specifically designed for clearance. Different fabric blends. Simpler construction. It looks identical in photos, but degrades faster." The data shows something surprising. We're not comparing the same products at different prices. We're comparing entirely different products wearing the same label. Think about that for a second. When you celebrate that clearance victory, you're celebrating purchasing an inferior product designed to fail sooner, cost more to replace, and signal to retailers that you should never access the premium tier. But the real opportunity is this: understanding cost per use versus cost per purchase. Let me put this in perspective. A family in my study bought a winter coat for their daughter every October at $300 full price. Sounds expensive, right? But because they purchased during peak season, they accessed premium tier inventory. Each coat lasted 4 years, through that daughter, and then handed down to the younger sibling. Total cost per year of use: $37.50. Another family in the same income bracket bought similar looking coats at $80 during summer clearance. Those coats averaged 14 months before visible wear required replacement. No hand-me-down value. Cost per year of use: $68.57. The family paying full price spent nearly half as much over a decade. But here's where the math gets even more aggressive in favor of peak season buying. The premium purchasers received loyalty invitations to private sales events with 40% discounts on new season merchandise. They accessed both quality and price. Now here's where everything I just told you becomes the foundation for something bigger. And this is how you profit from it. What wealthy families actually exploit isn't just better coats. It's a system I call relationship banking with retailers. When you consistently purchase during peak season, you enter an invisible customer tier that fundamentally changes your shopping economics. Major retailers track purchase timing with the same sophistication banks use for credit scoring. And what nobody expected was this. Your seasonal purchasing behavior creates a profile that follows you across brands. Luxury conglomerates share customer data. Peak season buyers at one brand get flagged for premium treatment at sister companies. I documented one family who entered this ecosystem 20 years ago. Today they receive advance access to limited releases, private sale invitations averaging 42% discounts, complimentary alterations, and dedicated sales associates who text them personally when relevant inventory arrives. Their effective discount rate on premium merchandise now exceeds what clearance shoppers pay for inferior products. If you want to see how this system actually works, make sure you're subscribed. The math doesn't lie. But there's another dimension wealthy people exploit that I haven't mentioned yet. Seasonal timing affects not just quality and access, but also negotiating leverage. When you buy during peak season, something counterintuitive happens. Retailers have more flexibility to negotiate. During clearance periods, margins are already compressed. Sales associates have zero room to offer additional value. But during peak season, margins are healthy. Associates are empowered to bundle services, waive fees, and create custom packages. I documented a case where a peak season furniture buyer negotiated free delivery, extended warranty, and fabric protection valued at $800. The clearance buyer of a similar floor model 6 months later paid extra for delivery, and received no warranty extension. Plot twist. The peak season buyer paid 12% more on the sticker, but received 31% more total value. This asymmetry compounds across every major purchase category. Cars, appliances, real estate, professional services. The wealthy time their purchases for maximum leverage, not minimum price. But wait. There's a better way to think about all of this. And here's the framework that changes everything. I call it temporal value arbitrage, and it works like this. Instead of asking when is this item cheapest, wealthy buyers ask when does purchasing this item generate maximum total value? That value equation includes product quality tier, relationship capital gained, negotiating leverage available, opportunity cost of waiting, resale, and hand-me-down potential, and network effects created. When you run every purchase through this framework, something remarkable happens. You stop optimizing for minimum price, and start optimizing for maximum wealth transfer to yourself. A peak season purchase of quality merchandise builds relationship capital that generates returns for decades. An off-season clearance purchase captures a small immediate discount while forfeiting all other value dimensions. What the wealthy do instead is they treat every purchase as an investment and a relationship that compounds over time. The 40% annual savings isn't from any single transaction. It emerges from the ecosystem of advantages that accumulate when you become a premium tier customer. So what does this mean for you starting today? You don't need a massive income to begin. Start with one category where you make regular purchases. Clothing, electronics, home goods, whatever matters to your life. Shift from clearance hunting to strategic peak season buying in that single category. Build relationship capital with one retailer. Learn their peak seasons and purchase timing. Within 18 months, you should see tier upgrades manifesting as private sale invitations, better service, and access to premium inventory. Then expand to a second category. Then a third. Within 5 years, you'll operate inside the same ecosystem wealthy families have used for generations. The clearance rack isn't saving you money. It's a trap that keeps you outside the system where real value flows. Now you know what the wealthy know about seasonal arbitrage. The question is whether you'll keep hunting for fake discounts, or start building relationships that pay dividends, forever. Think about that for a second before you grab the next sale tag. That's how you stop leaving money on clearance racks, and start building wealth through relationships that compound. Subscribe to decode more financial truths the conventional wisdom gets backwards. Now tell me in the comments. What's one category where you've been clearance hunting that you could flip to this strategy? I read every response, and I'm genuinely curious what resonates most. Next week we're exposing another wealth transfer mechanism hiding in plain sight.